So we got a bunch of stuff. We've got this buggy widen the front end 4 inches. We got the shocks done today. We got to pull the V twin off of it and do a light build on it because I don't have any parts for it. Laying on shelf. All this stuff kind of happened suddenly. So trying to get everything ready. Just checking something. Just checking. Make sure that the correct in my dark office because I never turn my light on. Okay. What up, Parker? What's happening? This was the slowest starting live stream I've ever done. Andrew C, how's it going? Tractor Boy, we actually are filming a video. Video comes out tomorrow where we widen the front suspension 4 inches. We also up the gearing ratio because it wasn't correct, and now we've got the front end done today. We're talking about the Briggs buggy, the Roketta. So I widened the front suspension 4 inches, had to move the shock location. I built new upper, lower A-arms, new tie rod. And then on the rear, we went from a 32 sprocket up to a 60 because the gearing ratio was completely off because this had like an ATV style engine on it from factory. So we've got all that done. Now tomorrow I got Dave back here. If you guys remember Dave, he's helped out a ton on the channel, especially in crunch time. Dave's an awesome fabricator, so you can just give him tasks to do and he can knock it out. You don't have to babysit him or nothing. We have to pull the V-twin tomorrow. I got to do a light build on a 670 for it. We're doing a Briggs build. We had a Briggs 23 horse on there, but we're switching over to a Predator just for the reason so we can build the Briggs and have the buggy still running. We're doing just valve springs, no governor, and jetting up the carb. That's all we're doing to the 670. And so we got to do that tomorrow. I got to finish building a big block for Blueberry go-kart. If you've been at meetups, Blueberry's always there. It's a piece of junk, but it always runs. So it's kind of like a tradition now. We have to bring it to every meetup. We have 4 mini bikes. We have Lonnie's MB200, my MB200. My MB200 has a Chinese parts motor. We're going to be torture testing it out there. Then we have the electric mini bike, and then we have the Coleman mini bike that has my 224 engine on it. So it's pretty freaking mean. And I don't know how much I'll ride the Coleman bike. I'll probably be on the MB200 if I'm on a bike. And Lonnie, of course, will be on his bike. His has the Tilson 236 stroker engine that we built. So I'm wondering if anybody that's in this live stream, we don't have a lot of people, normally have a couple hundred in here. We only got about 57 people, but if anybody's come to the meetup, let us know on social media. Just comment on any post and say, hey, I'm coming to the meetup, because we'd like to know if you're coming and what you're bringing. That's the bad thing with meetups. We never know how many people's coming. We never have no clue until we get there. So, of course, it could end badly, but if it does, then we're just going to have a good weekend of riding and camping out. So, Chad Ryan, I appreciate your love and support through the years. We've been on here 7 or 8 years, I think it is. Lower ball joint. Oh, shoot. That guy, so LTN kid, just commented. I took a screenshot, actually. He said that the lower ball joint, he said a part number. That is super handy because both of our ball joints are okay, but the boots are torn on them and they've got a ton of rust in them. We're going to try to pack them full of grease before they meet up. But that is awesome. Thank you for letting us know that. That is huge. I'll look up that part number later because I was actually going to have to go through that. If anybody knows any parts to any buggies we're working on when we're working on Chinese buggies, save us a ton of time from digging on the internet. But thank you a lot, because I was literally just talking to Dave about that today. Trying to find parts for this thing is, crazy hard. So again, what we'll have at the meetup is the 999 buggy. We'll have the blueberry go kart, which is that ugly. I call it the ugly pug go kart, but it's going to have a built big block. It has a reverse gearbox. That's going to be a good torture test for that reverse gearbox that we sell mounts for and stuff. And we have a reverse gearbox coming out very soon in collaboration with Vegas Karts. So stay tuned for that. It should be priced very similar to the one that was on Amazon, which are actually sold out right now. Shipping's going to be a little hard to get right now because of the strike put stuff back with the whole, the whole port and stuff. But any whoosies. So if anybody's coming to the meetup, we'd love to know. I know it's probably the worst time because I'm sure the hurricane damage has set a lot of people back. I don't know that for sure, like people that would be coming to our meetup, but it always worries me when something like that happens. And of course, our heart goes out to all the people that got affected by that storm. That's pretty wild. I actually was leaving North Carolina. I was supposed to leave North Carolina on Friday, and if anybody's seen the Interstate 40 stuff that happened, like where it washed away, that's actually where I drive through, of course, coming back to Tennessee from North Carolina. And luckily, my wife called me and told me the storm was hitting mainly on Friday, so I left one day early and beat the storm. So that was real nice. Um, so is the exhaust flange from 459cc fit the Duramax XP20? I have no clue. We stopped messing with Duramax engines a lot because I'll tell you one great engine they made was the 999. One big reason we don't use them a lot is because they tend to change manufacturers a lot, and that was a big issue if we're telling you guys what parts fits and they're changing their engines every year or something. It's like they're hunting for the cheapest manufacturer, which is understandable in a company like that. But when we're trying to tell you guys what parts fit it, it hurts us a lot, because we might say this rod fits and you buy a newer version of that engine and it don't fit. It makes us look like we lied to you. So we don't like to mess with those a lot. Harbor Freight tends to keep a lot of their engines the same. There is a big difference in the new 224 engine. I need to buy one to go through it, but basically nothing fits the new like Gen 2 of the 224 engine. So I need to do a video on that. Someone's saying all hail the Wildcat 240 for sure. That is the best engine. I can't wait to build ours even further. It's actually not going to be at the meetup because I have the head off of it where I ported it and I broke into the crankcase vent that's in the head, and I need to either I'm probably just going to JB weld it and then sand it back out and stuff. But someone's asking if I can put a F275 cam in the Wildcat 240. Possibly, I'd have to look up that cam. Beard's pretty wild today. I've had welding hoods on all day. Me and Dave has knocked out a ton of stuff. Dave machined a bunch of stuff for me today while I was fabbing up stuff on this buggy. And I finished the whole front end today. I need to fully weld it tomorrow, which that won't take but 20-30 minutes. And Dave also did a chain tensioner on the electric mini bike because when we put that motor, it messed with the chain alignment, or not the alignment, but the pivot point got a little further away, and it was the chain got loose through the travel. So we fixed that, and then the Coleman bike from factory, the sprockets wouldn't lined up. I kicked the chain the other day on it, first time I've ever done it, and basically we had to machine. Dave machined some spacers in there, and we fixed that problem. So that was pretty sweet. Backwoods Off-Road Channel said, you ever finished a supercharged 670 buggy? I was wondering that for a while. I've waited for it forever. I know so we'll do a story time one day about the 670, the supercharged 670 buggy, and why I've just put it on the back burner and not done anything with it. Why I don't take it to meetups is because it's 12 foot long. It's actually a hair bit over 12 foot long. It's as long as my Talon 4-seater was. It's just, I made it bigger. It was my first big all out chassis, and it's like the driving area is a little bit longer than it need to be, wider than it need to be. The buggy's sick though. But there's a big like thing that you guys don't know about it that I'm going to reveal, I guess. It's no big deal, but it just drives me crazy as a fabricator. It's a mistake I made on the frame, and it's just like it killed me inside when I finished it, and I was like, I can't believe I made this little mistake that passed through the entire buggy, which it doesn't affect how it runs or anything, but that's why we don't take it to meetup. Is it's so long. My trailer's 24 foot long, our mini bikes are 6 foot long. So if you put 4 mini bikes across the front of my trailer, then I'd literally only have the mini bikes in my one buggy, which is not fun when my wife's there and Lonnie's there and everybody, because I don't want my wife on a mini bike out there. So the reason we take all these smaller buggies because we can bring a more variety, and you never know if something's going to break. I'd rather have multiple buggies instead of one big buggy. We're going to do a Wildcat ride soon, and I would like to take my supercharged buggy. Our plans are is to get back from Wildcat meetup and um, get my time worked out, because then we're getting into the holiday seasons and everything, and is strip it down and fix a few things. Like I need to move the steering wheel closer to the seat. That was a mistake I made in it. That's a quick fix. We need to panel it up. Um, that I need to build a whole new wire harness for it, because back then I used copper clad aluminum. I know better now. Back in the day, I just bought the most affordable wire, and copper clad aluminum does corrode like crazy. So now I buy tinned copper wire, some marine grade wire. So I need to redo the whole harness on it. I'm going to build a different belt tensioner for the supercharger, and then we're probably going to go fuel injection after it gets back from powder coat. But that's the whole thing with it. Have you ever had a dirt bike instead of a mini bike? Oh yes, I've had dirt bikes, road dirt bikes and stuff. I just really like Lonnie had a 250R Honda race bike and did some racing and stuff, and he's having just as much fun on these mini bikes as he did on his dirt bike. And it's not cheaper, but it is cheaper because you can do it in stages and build up to it if you don't have a ton of money. How do you fix a wobbly piston on a go-kart? Probably buy a better piston, honestly. Better quality piston, or your bore could be all around, or there's a bunch of different reasons it could happen. Someone said I should build a flathead Briggs or a GX 240 or 270. We've done the 301 Predator. It's literally the same exact engine as the Honda like 270. We don't see those Hondas much. They don't come around these parts much, so that's why you don't see them on the channel. And they're so expensive to buy new. I'm not going to buy a new one and build it, obviously. But someone says Lake Murray ATV Park in Oklahoma is sick, camping and riding on the water. I would like to check. See, we want to do different meetups. That's the thing. The first meetup was a huge success. We had it in the middle of a field back in the day in Murfreesboro, and we had like 150 people show up for a day event. It was awesome. It was really cool to have that first meetup. And then we did two at Windrock 2 years in a row, and those was great, but I was on edge the entire time. I came back super stressed. Like I thought someone was going to die there. Honestly, Windrock gets really rough. If you take one wrong turn, you're in a rock bluff down the side of a mountain, and it's not fun when you got inexperienced riders with you and vehicles that aren't capable. So I was always stressed to the max. People's stuff was breaking. You're having to tow people out, and I'm not going to leave someone on the side of the trail, so it got really hectic. So we did that for 2 years, and they was super successful. We'd have 100 or so people show up. And then we went to Wildcat, had a really good turnout. And then the next year, which was last year, I believe, we wanted to go to Wildcat again. And we or not, sorry, I said Wildcat. I meant Turkey Bay. Then we wanted to do it at Turkey Bay, so we planned the whole thing. The week of the event, we found out that Turkey Bay had shut down. They didn't give any kind of announcement. They just shut it down week of. That's when they told everybody and said they was fixing bridges. And literally 3 days before our meetup, we had to change everything and go to Wildcat. Wildcat is awesome. The turnout was like 20, 30 people or something, which is, I mean, it doesn't matter if 5 people come. We're still going to have a good time. But Turkey Bay is by far the best place we've ever ridden. It's just amazing trails. You almost can't get lost there, and it's just an awesome time. But I know a lot of people aren't we don't know where you guys are located at. So we're gonna do this one at Wildcat, and then Turkey Bay. I always say Wildcat when I'm thinking of Turkey Bay. I don't know why. Maybe Wildcat, Turkey, animals. I don't know. But we're trying to find more places to experiment with that's good trail riding, that someone could bring like a Yerf dog, a stock Yerf dog, and get through. That's what we're trying to do, because we don't want to exclude these people that are trying to build this stuff, just because we have capable vehicles. We don't want to leave people behind. So we want to kind of go where everybody can ride and have fun. But someone said their friend daily uploads says his friend got a 200cc mini bike and he whiskey throttled it and accidentally flipped it over a bump. Uh, seen our share of whiskey throttles in a day. But the Roketta buggy, like I said, it should be finished up tomorrow. I'm literally to the wire waiting on stuff. Um, I got to get a hitch in the mail that hopefully is going to come tomorrow from Harbor Freight for my wife's SUV to tow the camper, because we normally tow it with my F-250, and of course it don't squat it hardly at all. But her car, her SUV, it squats it quite a bit. So we have to get the load leveling hitch, the weight distributing hitch, and it's supposed to be here hopefully tomorrow. We're waiting on the 7.5 foot ramps from Harbor Freight because we need to load these buggies sideways on my trailer, not normal. So we have to have these ramps. We're going to modify them slightly to hook on the side of my trailer and pull the stuff on the side. But so we got a lot to get done in 2 days. I still have to take her camper and adjust the brakes. I got to do that real quick. And it's fully set up outside, so I have to unset it up, jack up each tire individually, and set the tension on the brakes. I'm going to answer a few questions real quick. Someone said, "What about Busco Beach?" That's kind of cars and camera space, so we don't want to like take that. What like I feel like they always go there, so let them have it, type deal. Not trying to piggyback off none of their stuff. So probably won't ever do it at Bosco Beach. We'll leave that for their territory. Not that it's theirs or anything, just out of respect, I guess. Just let them have that place. Um, so Dave lives in like Whitwell. I've never even, I mean, when he told me about where he lived, that's the first time I ever heard of it. But it's a couple hours from here. Again, I don't know if that's close to anybody, but we might do some type of ride down there. I just never have been there, and I'd want to go there personally first to make sure no one's going to die. Someone's saying private parcels, hundreds of acres with trail networks that'll blow your mind. Look up Danny Tech Track and Trails in Rush Springs, Oklahoma. So we might need to check out. I don't know how far Oklahoma is from here. Um, I'm horrible with that stuff, so I need to check it out. We don't have a discount code right now on EC carburetors. We'll talk to them, see if we can get something like that. Um, but yeah, so uh, someone said, "Do you think Hidden Falls be okay riding mini bikes?" I don't know about Hidden Falls either. Someone said would suggest Harlan County ATV trails out there in Nebraska. Nebraska would be a trek. Um, but yeah, so let us know, especially when we post stuff on social media. Let us know about off road trails, because it's overwhelming when you look them up, and then half of them are garbage. My wife's bringing me sticky notes. She's my teleprompter. I can You gotta lean it back. It's clear. Oh, the darker color one, not the light green one. There's a light green one, then there's blue or something. Yeah, it's like there's two that look exactly the same. The darker one. Okay, teleprompter was not needed. Um, Someone said, "Do you know Braden Price?" I mean, I've heard of him. I don't know him personally. He was supposed to be at Cars and Cameras Dust Bowl race that they had, where we built gravy bones and took. And like he was a no show, no call. He literally stood everybody up. I guess John had contacted him. I don't know. I've just seen him on YouTube. That's all I know of him. And we don't really do any kind of collaborations anymore. Every time we've done a collaboration, it's a ton of work. You're going out of your way to, not that it's not fun, but it's so much work, and you get the same amount of views and no growth from it that you would get just working on something in your shop. So I choose from now on, like Junkyard Digs, he's supposed to make it down here. My papaw has a Chevelle SS that's been sitting in a garage for, I would say, 25 years with a 454 in it. We're supposed to go up there and revive it. Um, Kevin at Junkyard Digs is just awesome guy, and we get along really well. So we'll definitely do a collab with him. But there's no one that really, that I would think you would want to do a collaboration where both people benefit. And every time we've done a collaboration, it has done nothing for either channel. So it's like it's not worth doing anything with. Um, we're not doing anything on the bus anymore, Street Rosy. It's where it was last time. We got a camper now because the bus it's got an old worn out 351 Windsor. Like, it runs good, but I wouldn't trust it to go on like a 5-hour drive. you'd be working on it the whole time. And when you're trying to take like multiple people, that gets very stressful. That'd be fun for me and Lonnie to do like a stupid road trip in. But, when you're trying to take your family and stuff, it's not feasible. So now we have my 24-foot deck over trailer that we load down with vehicles. My wife has an SUV that'll tow like 8,000 pounds. So she'll tow the camper when we go on trips like this. And then we just recently got the camper because we was so tired of paying for hotel rooms and stuff. And like Turkey Bay, you have to drive like an hour to a hotel or something, which is, sucks when you've rode all day and you're tired and stuff. So we're really happy to finally have our camper because we'll be able to do more meetups and be more comfortable. So we kind of gave up on the bus. Someone saying sand dunes in Michigan. That's what I'm saying. We want to do more different type riding too. I've never been to any sand to ride, so that'd be awesome. Um, so let's see. I appreciate it. Mini bike Abe. Make a turbocharged 670cc. Probably I won't mess with turbos much. It's so hard to get. Like, look at what Cars and Cameras got. Like, you have to put so much time and money into them. It gets into like a big money pit to me when you go to trying to boost them. Supercharger works really good, but again, it's like, how reliable is that going to be? We haven't taken the supercharged buggy and really just stress beat it on it, all day. So we want to do that. Soon, but like at this meetup, it's just not feasible. Like I said, I can't haul it to that meetup and haul other things. I'd rather have multiple vehicles. We did look at Aaron Jay. We did look at Cummins swapping it. We was going to do the 4BT, and then when I talked to my buddy who builds Cummins, he was like, "Well, for the same money, you could have a 6BT, so like a 12 valve or whatever." And so we priced that out, and back then it was affordable. Now I can imagine what parts are and stuff. So and the modifications we'd probably have to do, it just get very costly. I wish we would have started with a better bus. Like ours is an 86 E350, and if we would have started with like a Chevy with an LS in it, that would have been a lot better. Like some guy came to our meetup. He's been a big supporter of the channel. He had one, I think it had a 6.0 LS in it, and it was in really good shape. It was still yellow, it was just like recently retired school bus, and that's what we should have started with. But we was brokered and a joke back then. We bought that bus for $500, and you've seen, what all we did with it. So we have probably $3,000 to $4,000 in that bus now. And to get it to where I'd want it to be, we'd have to sink another 4,000 or 5,000 in it. So that's why I was like, let's just go get a camper, And then we talked about that's the issue when you're hauling multiple vehicles. Like you'd have to almost buy an RV. An RV is, there's no way I'd ever pay for an RV at the prices they want for those things to haul a big enough trailer to haul vehicles. And then you don't have like a car to drive around. It just gets crazy. So you ever going to mod the Duramax 999 and delete the governor and do a supercharger? I want to, but that buggy has so much power. I hate to ruin it. One of our plans is in the next couple months, we have from a small engine warehouse, we got a differential, and we're going to build it into a 4-wheel drive buggy. We actually have another one of those frames. We're going to do a second build. We're going to turn the 999 into independent rear suspension with reverse that has independent rear. So it'll be all set up. And then we're going to do the other frame, exactly same front end. We're just going to do 4-wheel drive. So we have those builds coming up. I'm trying to perfect a bunch of frames so we like keep them around, like stuff we already have, like this Roquetta. I think the diff will be our downfall eventually, and then we just remodify, fabricate a different diff setup. But thank you, Chuck G. We appreciate the kind words. Aaron said to get a toy hauler, and that's another thing with a toy hauler camper. You still can't haul that much. We maybe could fit 2 buggies in a big toy hauler, but then like where would we haul the mini bikes? Like it gets, because when we go to meetup, we want several mini bikes because you could break a jack shaft. You don't know what's going to happen there. We've actually had very good luck at meetups. We've only had that I can remember one of our vehicles like really break down. So two times. One time it was back when we used those stupid 40 series CVT kits, which are awful. Don't waste your money on those things. And it left us stranded at the prison when we did the prison ride at Windrock the last time we was there. Just made it an awful ride. The pulley kept getting stuck, so you couldn't stop the buggy. If you did, it would die, and then it was engaged, so you couldn't start it back. Well, I did start it back for a while until the battery went dead. It was like starting it in gear, take off, starting. So that was the only tear up we ever had. And then the last time we was at Wildcat, or sorry, Turkey Bay, that was before we built the MB200 bushings, and we constantly was kicking chains, like nonstop. And now we don't have that issue because we fixed the problem. But it's actually we've had really good luck. I mean, that luck could run dry soon, and especially when we're throwing stuff together last minute. But oh, I'm trying to read comments. Um, but we're gonna have a good selection there and a lot of stuff to play on, so it's gonna be fun. Supercharged 670 probably costs $4,000 to recreate. It's very expensive. I mean, is the motorcycle engine better? Sure, but it was fun doing that video, and it's our most viewed video on our channel, so it was very well worth it for the growth of our channel and stuff. Um, So, Backwoods Off Road Channel, the best way to get a hold of us is through email, Greg at rbgcarts.com. I think it's in every video, the email. Um, I'm not going to promise I'll email you back, and that's not because I'm being a jerk. It's just we get a lot of emails. And, but we don't let people come to our shop, of course, because this is our home and where we raise our family. So, we don't want people showing up here. Um, but email would be the best way to contact us. And it makes you sound like a jerk when you're like, we can't have like these 40 thread conversations because, we have so many people emailing us. We can't do that. It's impossible to do that for everybody and still keep video content out. We try to do the best we possibly can. We sometimes get mad at us, think we're like people talk to you like trash on the internet for no reason, just for not seeing their message on Facebook Messenger or something. And we get like thousands of messages. So it's like it's impossible to talk to all you guys. If you notice, I don't read a whole lot of my or I don't reply back to them because, like, by the time we're so behind. Like, we're literally, I got tomorrow's video done yesterday, which is a little early than I have been. And normally it's like the video I'm literally uploading it the morning that it's of the day it's coming out. So it gets pretty hectic just trying to keep up with everything. And then, of course, kids and sports and stuff, it gets pretty wild. I'm an old man now. Turned 35 this year. Got gray hairs in the beard. Beard's all crazy today. It's full of grinder dust. I still got a shower. My mustache is black from grinder dust. Me and Dave hit her hard today and got a lot done. I appreciate it, NC Matt. A lot of people appreciate that. Some people don't, but everybody's different. We try to put something in there, at least. Um, but yeah. So yeah, we're gonna have 4 mini bikes, 3 buggies. Hopefully, if everything fits. I haven't test fit this stuff either. Like we could be getting too much stuff ready. Like I should probably go out there tomorrow. I'm waiting on some like lightweight ratchet straps. I have these big heavy ratchet straps, but I don't know where freaking ratchet straps go in life. It's one of those mysteries of the universe. They just disappear. So we have 4 sets of 4 coming tomorrow, and then we can put all of our mini box on the trailer, get those locked down, and then put as soon as the Roquetta's on, we can load it up. I got to tune up the 999 real quick, like oil the chains, tension the chains, stuff like that. Just make sure chain tensioner is good, and then we can load it up and then see if we have enough room for Blueberry because we might not even have room. I'm really hoping we can squeeze that puppy on there, and then we got to put 2 e-box in the bed of the truck. We got to load generator, cooler. The camper stays pretty much loaded. When I got a camper, I was like, I'm not unpacking my house in it, so I made sure to stock it like ready to go, other than clothes and food. But the necessities are in there, so that's mostly ready. And Well, it'll get pretty hectic the next couple of days, I'm sure. So one says I have a go-kart and it's a Honda GX 270 and it goes 26 miles per hour. I want to go 40 with a centrifugal clutch. Do you have any recommendations? BMI Carts has a calculator. If you go on Google, you can type in go-kart gear and ratio calculator and go on their website. Type in all your information. Leave your RPMs at 3,600 RPMs. Even if you don't have a governor or whatever, still leave it at 3,600 RPMs and try to tune it for 35 miles per hour at 3,600 RPMs. 30 to 35 miles per hour. Put your tire size and put your current gearing ratio. And if you're not around that 36 miles per hour at 3,600 RPMs, you're probably geared wrong. But a centrifugal clutch, I'm not a fan of them at all. Race carts, they're great, but just normal recreation use, a CVT, a 30 series is the best way to go, especially the Super 30 series that you can get from like EC carburetors and stuff is way better than a clutch. But uh, you know what's funny is that so the ratchet strap thing, someone's saying something about 10 mil sockets. I have never in my life lost a 10 mil socket. I've lost a 10 mil wrench once. I left it under Lonnie's hood when I was helping him swap out an alternator on his truck. And when we shut the hood, the wrench must have been in there. We never seen it again. I went immediately and bought that replacement wrench. Back then we had Northern tool wrenches and they looked a lot like the original old school Craftsman wrenches, the old Made in America ones. The Northern Tools was a 100% replica of them. Those wrenches suck now. When you go to like these Milwaukee wrenches and stuff, it's like, how do we use these old wrenches? You know, they have no flex in them. They're super nice. Um, but so one guy says I'm building a racing mower, and he's putting a torque converter on it, makes 30 horsepower, 40 series, is rated for 18. Any recommendations? At least go with the 780 on that. 40 series, even Comet will tell you, a 40 series was never meant for power sports. It was an industrial pulley made for like concrete trowels and stuff like that. That's why they fail constantly over the years on us. They wasn't never intended for this, and just companies got them and made a kit for them and then pushed them all to us like it was the best, and it was horrible. And we was bad about pushing those too because we didn't know any better back then. Now we know 780 is your bare minimum. It should hold up to that power. It's not rated for that power technically, but it'll hold up pretty good. Just take care of it, service it regular, and it should do pretty good. And have your gearing ratio right. Um, so, uh, someone said him and his buddies are trying to fit a 750cc Yamaha motor in a Murray Explorer frame. Any suggestions? The Explorer is a non-suspension one, I think. I mean, I'm sure you're gonna have to lengthen it and maybe even widen it. I don't even know if that engine will fit in there, but yeah, just stiffen that frame up. Add some supports everywhere because those frames, the Murray frames, are really thin. They're all 14 gauge. Most of them. I've had a couple that seemed like they was pretty thick in places, but most of the Murrays is very thin 14 gauge steel, which is like too thin in my opinion to make the main frame of a go kart I love. Um, so this one guy, Lucas, says he put a Amazon carb on his 196 Coleman. Every time he accelerates, it dies. Is there any reason for this? So if you hit the throttle and it just bogs and dies, then um, you're normally lean, and if it pops and spits and backfires and stuff, you're normally rich. Sometimes, I mean that's most of the time. So you're probably too lean, and you need a bigger main jet if you're like going full throttle. You got to adjust your idle circuit first, then full throttle, then your like midsection on carbs. Uh, Brad Bot Guy is in here. He's probably been in every live stream we've ever done ever. It's one name, him and Pogo Stick Nick, which I haven't seen Pogo Stick Nick in here yet. But this is like a random off the wall, live stream. Ben Davis, got the same last name, baby, from Missouri. What is happening? It'd be really cool if we eventually could make it out west. But again, it's like the logistics of something like that is so crazy because, like, even if we drove, to the dunes out west, you know what I mean? It would take 20, 25 hours of driving alone. And if you start figuring up the diesel that would cost, and then the, staying in hotels and stuff, because we couldn't take two vehicles and haul it. I mean, you could, but it would be crazy. It's just not, it just doesn't add up. It's like, this is a business at the end of the day, and we got to stay profitable to support our family. So it's like stuff like that. That sounds awesome to go on a road trip, and I would love to do that with Lonnie or something. But then that ain't fair. Becca's been a bigger part of this than Lonnie has. Like we couldn't leave her at home, and it would just be such a huge endeavor. So we would love to do some crazy stuff like that, but it's just right now we just can't see. You know. Um, would a Gator stand a 670cc with supercharger? Probably. I mean, they're pretty well built. I love that Gator that we put that small engine warehouse kit on. That thing is awesome. So someone said, is the 30 series better than the 40 series on a big block? I've heard 30 series burns belts or the clutch itself. Yeah, 30 or 40 series isn't good on a big block. You have to go up to a 780 Comet or larger. Um, so that's really, a 30 is only good for a small block. If you're running a buggy, I wouldn't even run a 30. Like if you're running a small buggy, like suspension off-road buggy with the 212, I probably would try to bump up to a 500 series Comet, which we have a video coming out soon on the 500 series. It's kind of like the Juggernaut pulley. It's like a Salisbury style clutch, but they're expensive. I mean, you get into a lot of money buying the Comet stuff. And I know everybody's on a budget and everybody has everything's tight right now. Stuff costs so much. So I know um people try to, cut back any way they can, but if you put a 30 series on a big block, you're gonna blow that son of a gun out for sure. So they're saying that the dunes in Oklahoma would be about 14-hour drive. See, that's kind of doable. I mean, it would still suck, but that's doable. Not hauling the camper. We'd have to stay in hotel rooms. But that's what I'm saying. It gets very expensive. You're talking about a trip. Not saying we won't. Like Oklahoma's way more doable than going way out west like we wanted to do. But you're looking at spending $5,000 on a trip. It's like, was this profitable? So someone said, before building go-karts, what would you say is affordable? But wait a second. I swear I got a mouse in this office. I got a little mouse somewhere. Jerry's popping around somewhere. Affordable suspension for a go-kart. A four-wheeler. Buy a crappy four-wheeler. Look at this. Come here, Custard. Come here, Custard. Hey, Custard. Four-wheeler suspension is cheap. They work pretty good. You'll get a little bit of travel out of them. And that's what I would probably go with. If you don't want to get into building everything, try to keep the same mounting points. You can even cut the whole bulkhead off the four-wheeler and modify it onto a frame. Would be a cheap way to do that. My homemade dune buggy. Freaking try to come to a meetup one day. It'd be fun. We're giving away, we always give away tools, engines, parts. So we always try to give back to you guys as a thank you for watching and supporting us. Because, of course, without you guys supporting and watching the videos and liking and commenting, we wouldn't have grown this business to where it is. And we're very thankful for that. We don't say it enough, for sure. So we try to give back all we can. Last year, we didn't do as many giveaways. They get crazy. People get crazy when you give stuff away. Like, a lot of times we're giving away stuff through companies. So we don't have the physical items to ship you. So we're at the mercy of the company sending it out. And then people will talk to you like garbage trying to get their stuff. And we're like, it's coming, guy. It ain't coming today, but it's going to be there. So we're going to do a video on 780 CVT, on the 500 series, on the 30 series, on the 40 series. We're going to break down the whole CVT world soon, like we've done on the Road to Horsepower with power stuff. So I'm trying to read some comments here. Do a video about the 8 horsepower Predator engine. We've done the 301 video before, if that's what you're talking about. We've done a build on it, so probably need to do an updated one, but we'll try. Sorry, we're getting more comments now. What kind of horsepower is expected out of the 999 with the AMR 500? What kind of weight should I stay under to make it worth it? Well, I mean, you could pull a 1,000 pound buggy with a 999 if geared correctly and set up correctly. I don't know what it would do with the AMR 500. I really wouldn't put one on it with stock rods and stuff. It's just you're asking to blow a $2,000 engine up. But I will tell you that 999 is better than a built 670 all day. Just bone stock, setting the CVT up right and the gearing right. It'll outdo a 670. It's crazy how much power that buggy has. I know it doesn't come out in videos, but everybody that rides it, it blows their mind. So, let's see here. Got a 390 for cheap, GX 390. It needs a carb, but I have a ton of CV carbs from old Honda and Kawasaki motors. Think it'd work. As long as you stay 34 millimeter under, it'll work. I would try to stay around the 32, 34 millimeter, but should work fine. I appreciate it, Jim Pooley. Thank you for the kind words. Randall Baker, it's 999. The 999 is one of our. I mean, I hate that rear suspension, but we just haven't had time. I mean, it's on the chopping block, of course, like every freaking thing is in this garage. We constantly modify stuff. So you should try the Ace Up Energy 459 18 horse. We don't mess with a lot of weird engines anymore because they're all the same, but they're not. And it sucks to go buy a $500 engine just to make a video seeing what it fits. But I understand that helps you guys. But again, when you're looking at a business like, will this video make $500? And so you're like really trying to make good business decisions. Thank you, Dustin Burt. We appreciate it. Jim Jordan, we don't support GPS anymore. We don't go to any of their events, so we'll no longer be at any of their races or any of that stuff. I don't miss driving to Texas, I'll tell you that. Those was rough drives. Then back I did one, me and my wife, Miss Redbeard, straight 13 hours, which isn't, I mean, I've done 13 hours before, but that particular one, my face was about to melt. It was horrible. But, so, did you hear that? There's a mouse in here. Where you at, mouse? It sounds like it's in the wall. So this is a stupid thing about this building when we built it. It's when lumber went crazy. And it was like 4 times the price when we built this. So we asked a few contractors, because we did all this ourselves. It was like, would it be worth doing, because this was just a tin like hay barn or whatever when we did it all. And I was like, would it be worth doing plywood, like taking off all the tin and doing plywood? And everybody was like, I wouldn't go through it since it's just a shop. I regret that. I'm trying to see if something moves. Nothing's moving, but he could be brave. You're gonna see in a minute a freaking mouse pop out on my freaking cranium. You guys let me know if you see in the background walking on the knick-knack shelf. I got all my knick-knacks all the way around this place. But okay. So, gonna read a few comments. Jeremiah, we don't do business with them anymore. That's basically all I want to say about that. There's no really need to talk about it. From Canada, we see a lot of people. It must be hard to get a lot of parts in Canada, because we constantly see like people needing stuff shipped to Canada, like performance parts. They can't find a lot up there. So I don't know the difference between a Power Fist and a Predator. Because for those that don't know, the Power Fist, we've had this question asked a lot, is the Canadian version of the Predator. But I would love to get one. I need to see if I can hunt one down to order one, because I know that would reach a lot of audience in Canada. So I'll work on that. I'd really like to see what fits them and stuff. Someone said they got a leaking carb. Are you running the pulse pump? That's kind of a, there's could be several issues. Sometimes if it's an O-ring style carb, they can swell with ethanol. Ethanol can make those O-rings swell up and stuff, and they don't want to seat right. Could be a leaking needle and seat. That's really what you should check out. I have a tick in my Predator 212 Hemi. Any clue what it could be? It could be the valves are noisy on these engines, but I would try to reset the valves. Another thing is it could have crank walk. The crankshaft could be moving side by side. If you look at our videos, we show how to put shims on it. You just pull side cover off, put shims until you get about 10 thousandths of movement. That's one thing it could be. You can get a loud knocking noise out of crank walk on these engines. Someone said I would use cement board for the shop exterior. See, what I'd like to do, since when we build the office on, it has all new tin, and this has a whole new tin roof. I'd like to take off all the green and redo it in gray, and when it's off, I would like to plywood it and Tyvex it and then put the tin up, but that's just so much money, you know? So someone said, is the Predator Ghost worth it? Worth the money? It is if you don't want to build an engine. If you want to slap an engine on, that's all you're going to do. Yes, it's worth it. There's better options out there. I think the 240 would be a better option for probably around the same money. I haven't actually added them up here recently, but if you're wanting that kind of RPMs, it's a good option, but not if you're going to ever build an any. It's kind of, you're paying for, you know, what it is. So, excuse me, had a burp. Would you ever sell a built MB200? Yeah, probably. So, sorry, I had to take my dip out. Think electric mini bike engine would work for reverse. Yes, those things are very powerful. I didn't think about that. That's very clever. We may do that in a video. If we do it, make sure to comment saying this was my idea, and I'll say yes, it was. But that is a very good idea, actually. Those things make I mean, you have to get a good one, but yes, that would work. You can even use a starter, but electric motor would work pretty good. Dustin, we just don't work with them anymore. Someone saying is built 212 is a pain in the butt to start. Different carbs, different jets, check timing, valve lash, everything after installing a 275 cam. Is it too much cam for my build? No, it's probably your compression release could be messing up. I mean, if you truly checked everything, you know it's right. I would make sure. I mean, if you're saying it's just hard to start, it's probably just bad carb tuning. Oh shoot, Lansdowne Family Racing. He used to port our heads and mill it, and we're supposed to do a collab with a dirt bike engine, swapping it over to a 4-wheeler block, but we've kind of just left that thing outside to die. We'll eventually move back, but Lansdowne, if you're in his area, look him up, and he works on 4-wheeler side by sides and vehicles. He's a good guy. So, someone said I'm building a Tilson 236 up tonight, Wildcat. Hemi head, billet everything for a yard car. Any recommendations for best power? Yeah, it's a lot of work for the cement board. I mean, if you're building it up night, you probably already got your parts, but I like the 265 cams a lot because you can put ratio rockers with them and really get a good power setup out of them. And it's reliable. You can beat on them. You know, you don't have to worry about it. Now, I like EC's flywheels better. I like EC's rods better because they're forged rods. Their flywheels have a little bit more timing built into them, a couple more degrees over like ARC's. ARC's is a great flywheel though. It's not like it, but that extra degrees of timing is going to help you in certain builds. So we got about 10-15 more minutes on this puppy. Someone said the rev limiter sounds so good on a Ghost 212. So I'm going to answer this question one more time. Someone's asking about the 670 Buggy, the supercharged 670. We was talking about it earlier. Our plans is after Wildcat or Turkey Bay. I keep calling it Wildcat. It's got a freaking, it's burnt my brain as Wildcat. When we get back from Turkey Bay, this meetup, our plans is to move the steering wheel, do a few little odds and ends, then get it to powder coat, and then finish it off very soon, because I want that thing to be done and kind of do like a big grand finale on the channel. And then we're going to go off and put fuel injection on it and keep the supercharger. So, well, yeah, one day we'll do the collab, Lansdowne. I got to get all my ducks in a row. That's all it is. So, someone says you should put a Hayabusa engine on a golf cart. We're actually putting a, what is it called? A Honda Goldwing engine on a golf cart very soon. We got the Goldwing, got the golf cart. We got to buy wheels and tires. We're going to build a suspension for it. And we're going to make a street legal truck that's on-road, off-road capable. More, it's kind of like a mix between, it's not going to have like crazy long travel or nothing, but we're going to make it very drivable and put street tires on it, and then have an off-road setup with different shocks and different tires. We can take an hour and swap over to, then have an off-road vehicle to take the meetups. I think that'd be super sick. So we're going to do that. We've bought the motorcycle and everything, and so we're doing that soon. It's a 1300cc a Boxer 6-cylinder, and those things make 110 foot-pounds of torque, so they're mean engines. So we're super happy about that. So again, make sure if you're coming to the meetup, let us know some way, somehow. I really hope you guys can make it out, because it's going to be super fun. We have a blast. We're going to hang out. I'm assuming we can build a fire there, because every time the one time we've been to Turkey Bay, we stayed off. We didn't have a camper back then. Now we're camping there, so you can hang out with us in the afternoons and stuff. But yeah. Should I put titanium exhaust on a 670cc? I guess if you can afford it, it'd be different. I don't think it'd be worth the money if there's money better spent on other stuff. I'd just do stainless or crap. If you can't afford stainless, just do regular. I mean, I got stainless. I try to use stainless because it looks so good and stuff, and it's lighter than using steel. But that's a lot of money for an exhaust. We should do a titanium exhaust eventually. I've never TIG weld titanium. I heard it's a real sticky type. Chris, old Schmitty boy, he's been on the channel. He built the supercharged 670s exhaust back in the day before I could TIG weld, and he's become a very close friend. So I met a lot of people through YouTube, like doing these videos. Chris from Georgia found our videos because he wanted to build his kids a go-kart. And he's like a master fabricator and a great mechanic and stuff. And he does like twin turbos on Lamborghinis and stuff. And it's crazy to me that someone like that would be watching my videos on go-karts. It blows my mind. Like, why would you? Like, you got the talent, obviously. But it's just like if I went to go build an LS, I've never built an LS before. So I'd have to watch content on an LS because you don't want to make dumb mistakes, that cost money. So even Pat from Power Nation, I don't know if you guys watched that, but when we was at SEMA, he was looking at the buggy I built for SEMA, and I was like, holy crap, that's Pat. I've been watching him like crazy here recently. And I went up and talked to him, and he had been watching my videos, and now I've made friends with Pat through it and found out he don't live far from here and stuff. And we're hoping to collaborate and get him in a video soon. And so I met Chris, and then I met Dave. Dave came to our meetup and introduced himself, and Dave's a very close friend now. And it's crazy. Randy, we built the Yerf dog for Randy. Randy's a very close friend now, and it's just cool the people that God put in your life through something like this you'd never expect. Through go-karts, I've met some of my closest friends, so it's pretty cool, and just great people, from everywheres. What's the most horsepower you can put through a 30 series CVT with heavier springs? I don't like the stock pulleys. I mean, what they call a stage three. A stage three is whatever you call a stage three. So it depends on what business you're buying a stage three from. The whole stage thing got kind of oversaturated in the market, because what I consider a stage three is not what people sell a stage three as. Because to me, a stage one is like a jetted up carb, air filter, steel covered, and exhaust. That's a stage one in my opinion. If I was making stage kits and selling them, that's what I would do. And then a stage 2 would be removing the governor and running a billet flywheel and a billet rod and heavier valve springs. That would be a stage 2. And a stage 3 would be like cam and ported head, would be a stage 3. And then stage 4 would be like milling, ratio rockers, and just goes on and on from there. Stroker would be like a stage 5 maybe. That's what I consider the stages, but I don't sell parts like that, so it ain't up to me. But oh, someone's at. I think what they're trying to ask this person is asking. You got a lot of project. Is it hard or getting harder to come up with different ideas or things to build? You'd think it would be, but no. I have like so many things that I want to do. Just time holds me back more than anything, and I find myself more and more like in life, like you start realizing, am I wishing away my life? Like, man, I can't wait that this project's done so I can get on this. But then like you're like it's as cliche and stuff, but you have to like find joy in the moment because we get so busy that because our kids have sports stuff and my wife has things going on, and like we're just constantly busy. It'd be nice if we could step back and just enjoy this chapter of our lives before we just wish it away into the next chapter. And I'm getting older, so I see these things. I see my kids growing up in front of me, and Grayson's not my little boy anymore. He's a 11-year-old, partial man with a mustache, and it's hard, like running a business and trying to keep it successful and take care of a family. It's very hard to stretch those things. And again, you just find yourself like almost wishing away your time to get to the next chapter where you think you're going to make it, when in reality you're going to have the same problems that you have now, where you're always chasing money or something like that. um it's real hard to balance everything. I know that's not what you was asking, but I feel like I have to say that. But no, we have an unlimited amount of ideas. The thing that, like, I prayed a long time ago, and I say this every time I talk about God. If you don't believe in God, that's your own deal. I'm not trying to beat anybody with the Bible here. But I prayed a long time ago that God would have his will with this channel and not be mine. And through that, God has let me meet great people and talk to them about God and what he's done in my life, and like hopefully made a difference in their life. And that's huge. That's more than any of this fabrication knowledge that I've gained and skills that I've gained, is the interactions I've been able to have with people about what God is to me and what he's done for me. Um so it's crazy where this journey has brought us, and all the people you get to meet and get to interact with. And now we just have to like balance all that, because we've had a successful channel. And then I always said like I wanted it to be his will, but then I wanted to grow my YouTube channel really big, which we have. I mean, 430,000 subscribers isn't small, but you go through your ups and downs, especially in this genre. It goes up and down. We're in a down right now. Views are low. Everybody's income is cut in half from YouTube and stuff. But God always provided. I always trusted in him and knew another door would open when a door closed. And it always has happened, as long as you keep faith and know that he has you. But that don't mean you can be lazy and just wait on it to happen. You have to keep working and hustling. Um, but again, I know some people, hate when I talk about this stuff, but that's the reality of how we got here. Was 100% God. God opened doors that I couldn't open. I say this every single live stream because I don't get to say it in videos enough. But if you look 7, 8 years ago, however long we've been doing this, like I couldn't even weld. I'd never used a grinder before in my life before I got on YouTube. So if you think you can't do it, I had a family of 4, counting myself, 2 kids and a wife, making like $50,000 a year, hustling on the side, making a couple, 20, 30,000 more, working my life away. And I really wanted to do this. And once I put my life, like gave my life over to God, that's when everything opened up. And to go from a 21 by 25 garage that had like 2 fluorescent light fixtures in it and stuff to what we have now is just incredible. And I don't care if you believe in God or not. This is the work of God for sure. What He's allowed us to accomplish, and it's amazing. I thank God every time an order comes in from our website. Anytime that we pick up a new sponsor or we get to do something, or I finish a build and I'm able to look at it, and I'm real hard on myself mentally, like I'm very hard, and you guys don't see that because I'm always happy on video, but I'm very hard on myself mentally, and it's not good, and I shouldn't be like that. But when I finish something and I'm very proud of it, the first thing I do is thank God for giving me the skills to be able to create things with metal like this. And there's better fabricators out there than me, of course, but I'm going to strive every day to do my best. I wish I would stop being hard on myself, but that's just something I struggle with. But yeah, God's brought us a long ways in this for sure. Talk so much I got dry throat. But so if you don't think you can do it, you can, because all the odds was against me. I was broke. I was trying to raise a family and didn't have any skills, didn't have any tools. I trusted in Him and I went after it, and God opened the doors because I left that up to Him. And we've never had a massive grow up like in subscribers and stuff. And you see other channels blowing up, surpassing you and stuff. And that's okay. Like, I have to be okay with that because, again, I ask Him to be, to guide me and for His will to be done. So at the end of the day, if you ask that, but then you don't respect it, then, it's a slap in God's face. So, but thank you for letting me rant on here a little bit. Like I said, I always try to use live streams to say these things because I don't have time in videos to do it. So I thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We've been going over an hour, and the kids are on fall break this week, so try to spend a little time with them. Dave will be back here at 8 in the morning, so I got to get my shut eye. You don't look this good not getting sleep, you know what I'm saying? But I go to bed like 12 or 1 every night. I'm always dragging in here. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for the kind words and the support over the years. We really appreciate it. And got a video coming out on this hog tomorrow. I'll give you a sneak peek of what it turned. It's freaking sick. This front end is real nice. So there's the upper A-arm and the tie rod. We had to do a 2-piece, do a pretty cool bracket. This is it sitting on the ground on the front. Really lifted it. I know it's wild seeing it way out there. We had to run wheel spacers. When we get back, we're making actual new hubs to sink the tire in another 2 inches, and that'll make a big difference. But it's strong. It doesn't look like it because it looks like one little point there. But trust me, it'll last. And got everything made. Had to make these shock brackets today. But that'll be coming out tomorrow, and then we'll have another video next week. And I'm going to try my best to get a meetup video done. I've never put one out of every meetup we ever went to. I have them all. I filmed them all, but it's just like you get back and you're so overwhelmed, you just want to get back to work. So thank you, Thomas, for your donation. It helps out. We really appreciate it. So thank you for that, for sure. Yeah, I'm going to go get a drink of water because my freaking throat's dry as the Sahara. And again, thank you, Thomas, for that donation. We really do appreciate it. It's one step closer, baby, to the out west trip. But again, thank you guys for watching, supporting us, and commenting and purchasing our parts and just being there for us. We can't wait to hopefully see you at the meetup. Turkey Bay, go check it out. The information's on our website, rbgcarts.com, so make sure to go check it out. We'll have this hog there. We'll ride with everybody. We'll hang out. And we're going to do video on subscribers, people at the meetups, vehicles. So if you're there, let us film it, and we'll show it off on the channel. So thank you guys so much for watching. We love you, and God bless.